Today I want to teach you a little bit about the concept of a temporary interest rate buy down. Now, first of all, I want to talk about rates and where they are right now. We are at the average rate right now that is very historically normal. I know for a lot of us, rates seem really high. They're at a number that we're not really used to seeing, and that can be scary for some of our buyers. And maybe things aren't really fitting into their budget the way that they were hoping. So one thing that us mortgage professionals can do, and you realtors can help educate your buyers and sellers about, is this concept of a temporary interest rate buy down. So, a mortgage is a loan that you take out to buy your home. You repay that money that you borrow plus interest over that set period of time, 15 or 30 years usually. So the interest is the cost to borrow that money. It's a percentage of your loan amount, and higher rates mean higher payments. So that buy down, it's a strategy that we use to reduce the amount of interest that you pay at the beginning for a certain period of time. This means that the interest rate on the mortgage is lowered temporarily at the beginning of a loan. You can also do a permanent interest rate buy down. Usually this is known as buying points or paying points or origination fees, things that show up in box A of the closing disclosure. Now, with the way we think that the market is trending and what the economists all think is going to happen in the market, right now, we don't believe, now of course no guarantees, but we don't believe that permanent interest rate buy downs are the best option right now. If you do a permanent interest rate buy down, you put your money out up front, you pay it, you can never have a chance of getting it back. You pay those points for the lower interest rate, and that's how it is forever. So if you are a buyer that is very risk averse and you want to know that your rate is going to be lower forever, this can be a really good option. Okay, so back to the temporary rate buy down. Let's say you have a 30-year mortgage with a temporary rate buy down. It depends on how long your buy down is for. You can do a 1-1, a 2-1, a 3-2-1, a 1-0. Confusing, right? So if you do a 2-1 buy down and your permanent rate is 8%, and you do a 2-1 buy down, in the first year, instead of being 8%, your rate will be 6%. In the second year, it'll be 7%. And in that third year, you go back to the permanent rate of 8% for the rest of your loan. Now, the way you pay for this is you get a seller concession of the amount of interest that is offset by the lower rate. And it sits in an escrow account with the lender, and that little bit of money is taken each month and paid with the borrower's mortgage payment. So it's great for the borrower, for the home buyer, because their monthly payment is a lot lower. And it can often be the same to the seller because they were planning on that same sales price, but you built in that amount of money for the seller concession. So it's 2% less for the first year, 1% less for the second year, and then that permanent rate for the first year. It can make a world of difference for a homeowner, for a prospective home buyer who really wants to get in that house. Maybe they know they're going to get a raise. Maybe they really believe that they're going to be in this house for only 2 years. Maybe they're certain that they're going to be able to refinance. Whatever fits with what is going on with them, blah.
Trish did a great job at explaining what a temporary interest rate buy down is, but let's go into the benefits of utilizing one. So many people may ask, why would I temporarily buy down my rate when I can do a permanent buy down? The reason behind that is permanently buying down your rate is very, very costly. It can cost thousands of dollars just to lower your interest rate by maybe 0.25%. However, a temporary interest rate buy down is much more affordable and cost efficient because the seller is the one who is going to pay for your temporary buy down. So how that works is the seller will fund a separate escrow account that has money in it for the buyer to pull from. So what will happen is, let's say you lock in your interest rate at a 7.5% rate, but you're doing a 1-year buy down by 1%. So the buyer pays out of their own pocket 6.5% of a mortgage payment, or a mortgage payment that has a 6.5% interest rate, and they will pull from the seller funded account to supplement to equal a full 7.5% rate. So it's great. You get to lower your mortgage payment by a full percentage point, and it costs you nothing because the seller will fund it for you. So that's one advantage. It's much more cost efficient. Another advantage is your payment is going to be so much lower for that first 12-month period, right? So let's say you are working a job and you're expecting a big promotion or maybe a salary increase sometime next year, and you come across that dream home that you're thinking, I may not be able to afford the mortgage payments today, but I know I'll be able to afford them this time next year. Well, a temporary interest rate buy down could be a great solution where you have a much lower mortgage payment starting off. Then after your salary increase, you'll be able to afford that higher payment, right? It's another great advantage. Lower payments starting off to help with the affordability. Also, we talked about the seller funding this account for you, right? That's going to help supplement those payments. Well, if you decide to refinance your mortgage before that account runs out of funds, you can use those excess funds to contribute towards your next refinance. So your next refinance is going to be much cheaper because the seller is going to help pay for some of it. It's a huge benefit. It's a huge benefit for affordability, cost efficiency, but also there's a huge benefit for the seller as well. Let's say you are trying to sell your house and you have no bites. Nobody's putting any offers in on your home. Well, you can advertise that your house comes with a temporary interest rate buy down, and that's going to draw a lot more attention from buyers in the market because they are going to see that this house is going to be much more affordable for the first year or two of that mortgage payment that they're going to be taking on. So if you're a seller and you are struggling at trying to get buyers to come visit your property, it may be advantageous for you to put in the listing ticket of your home that this home comes with a temporary interest rate buy down. It's going to draw a lot more attention. You're going to get a lot more people at your house, and both sides are going to be happy. You're going to be able to sell your house still because you're getting a lot of attraction, and the buyer is going to be able to get into that house with much more affordable payments. So win-win for all parties. So hopefully this helps explain why you should take advantage of a temporary interest rate buy down if possible. And if you have any questions on how this works, that's what we are here for at Planted Local Lending. Feel free to reach out to us.
Hey, if you'd like to have a video from us just for your buyers, please let us know. We'd be happy to send you a copy.